And then the whole lunch, I was just sitting like, okay, now I'm gonna do it. Oh, when they bring the drinks, I'm gonna do it. Oh, when they bring the food, I'm gonna do it. Oh, when she's done eating, I'm gonna do it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is JM and Andreas, and today we're going to talk about how to come out and our personal coming out stories. Let's start. First point, when is it actually better for you not to come out? Obviously, because of the society that we live in, coming out or being gay or queer in general is not accepted everywhere. So there are certain situations where I personally feel like it might be better to wait. Some example could be if you're underage and you're totally reliant on your parents and you're not sure how accepting your parents might be of the situation. I think there's no shame into waiting until you're actually more independent. Another example that I can think of where it obviously depends on the laws and religion of the country that you live in.
Exactly.
So step number 2, how do you know when it's the right time to come out?
I think for me, it has everything to do with yourself, your emotions, how you are. So what I mean by that is that, it's such a personal journey because there's so many things in society pointing against you being who you are because it's different from the norm.
Yeah, and then at the same time, there's no law that says that you have to come out. So it is very personal.
Yeah, so maybe the
everyone.
point is that you should not come out until you want to. If you don't want to, it's no one's business.
Yeah. So here's an interesting question. Say now you're ready to come out. Where is the best place to start? Should you start with your friends or with your family?
Of course, it depends. You can have the best, most perfect family where everything is fine. But I think it's really rare. So if you're not that lucky, then I think personally your friends. Because they will have hopefully the same understanding and the same values and view of life. And also there's not so much on the line as well. If you come out to a friend and they don't like you, then and move on. It's more difficult to do that with your family.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely friends that will support you, whether it's actually real life friends or just an online community, because I think that's the main thing. It's not so much coming out that you want to announce it to people, but it's more like for yourself to actually say out loud to someone else. Mm-hmm. And then I think coming out to your family, it will be the second stage. So what to do if you get a bad reaction?
Well, I am probably a bad person to ask. So disclaimer, what I'm gonna say now is wrong, and then you can say the right thing after. And what I think is right is that you can get angry and you can get mad, because when you come out, this is the most personal thing. It's not for them to judge, it's not for them to have an opinion, it's not for them to say anything except from thank you very much for opening up to me. Of course, I know it's not this black and white, but if someone doesn't accept it, well then you just say I cannot talk to you anymore, and you go and get educated and come back to me. It's your right to react whatever way you want.
Yeah, I think definitely it's easier said than done. But there's one thing that you said that I really like. I don't necessarily agree with what you just said. But the fact that you said it is now the other person's responsibility to go and educate themselves. Because by the time you come out, you probably had this thought in your head for a long time. And you also probably consume a lot of queer media. So you are exposed to it to a completely different level. So it's hard for that person to have the right reaction because they might not even know what the right reaction is. So in that sense, I want to say it took us time to figure out that we're queer. I think it's only fair for close family to allow them the time to process it in their head.
Yeah, I will say I disagree 50%. Yes, it is something that they need to get used to and understand. But when that is said, some people don't accept it. It's not them saying, oh, I don't like your t-shirt today.
Yeah.
Oh, what they're actually saying is that I don't like who you are, or I don't think it's okay to be you. And why does anyone need freaking fucking time to accept who someone else is? I'm not harming anyone. I'm not, well, maybe I am a little bit. But
So I think this will be a good time to share our stories, and maybe you can give some context.
Well, I came out first to several of my friends before I got to say it to my family. So I think it makes the most sense to tell the one about my parents. When I decided to come out, I actually didn't want to. I was so angry, I was so mad that it was something I had to do. Because I was just like, why can I not one day just say, oh, hello, I got a boyfriend, and then bring him home? But then, one of my very best friends, she told me she came out to her family, and she told me how good of a response she got. And from that second, I got got so jealous. I was like, why is this not me? I also want that. So then I did it the next day. So I went from not wanting to ever do it. I was like, I'll do it when they're about to die.
Oh my.
But then I switched in one day. And
You are the most annoying person to have in a friendship group because, oh yeah, I've done this. It's like, I want to do it too.
But yeah, and actually I was such a loser doing it. I was going to work and then I had a lunch with my mom, and then the whole lunch I was just sitting like, okay, now I'm gonna do it. Oh, when they bring the drinks, I'm gonna do it. Oh, when they bring the food, I'm gonna do it. Oh, when she's done eating, I'm gonna do it. And then I didn't do it. So she ended up going on the bus home, and I was just like, I spent this much brain energy on nothing. So what I did was I jumped out of the bus and took the same bus as her, the next one. When I got home, she just got home as well, and she's like, oh, why are you here for your winter work? And I'm like, yeah, I just forgot my key that I have in my pocket. But yeah, I just, And then just standing there in the kitchen with her, and she thought it was so weird. Why are you just standing here? There was this rainbow ball, and I was like holding it like, this is rainbow, I'm gonna tell you about something. And then yeah, after 15 minutes, because then I was like, oh, I have to go to work, I said it. I actually think that the first words that came out of my mouth was that I was bisexual, and then I went over to say I was gay, just because I think it was easier for me to say, because I was like, oh, then she can still have a little hope that I will end up with a woman, But and then I said it, and she was so open, and she said she would still love me. That's so funny, because then Mother Six started saying, oh, I still accept you, I still love you, you're fine, you're the same person. I'm like, yeah, the hell I yeah. But in the moment, it's nice to hear that.
Yeah.
I will say she also started to cry, and she got sad. I think it was both because she was like, oh no, Andreas has been going for this long with something so heavy on his heart. But of course it also made her sad that she now had to redefine who I am in her world. But then I went to work and I said bye, and
You left her with that.
yeah.
And your dad?
Yeah, so this time my dad, he was at work. So she told him before I got home. And when I got home, he was just like, came to my room and he gave me a hug. And then he left the room and that was it.
That's sweet. That's
yeah,
sweet.
I think that was the best.
That.
You know what? No words needed to be spoken, honestly.
No.
If I could just have held it up a sign, also to my mom, and she would just be like, thumbs up, and then I would just walk away, that would have been perfect.
So overall, it was a positive experience.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my experience as well, I also started with friends, and then from friends I built the confidence to stay to my family, but I started with friends online. I remember the very first person was this girl from my school, and we were on MSN, and I just told her, and then she was like, yeah, I don't blame you, I also like boys. And it's weird how much you think is going to be a big deal, but in my experience, all the responses I had from my friends it wasn't a big deal. Then I think I told my mom first. We were watching a horror movie, and after the horror movie, we were just sitting there, and she was like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm going to be so scared. I already had it in my head thinking that I wanted to say it eventually. So then I was like, well, do you want me to tell you something that is going to distract you from the horror movie? And she was like, yeah, sure. And that is also where I really remember the feeling that you also described of the anticipation of it before you actually saying it out loud.
But you were smart, because she said, do you want me to tell you something? So now she wouldn't let it go until you said it.
Yeah, true. So then, yeah, I also said, I think I also like boys. So I think that's why
it's so funny.
Bisexual people had such a hard, complicated life because of us. Because a lot of the time it is a coward move to just do it. But at the time it just felt like the right thing to say. And then her response was, she was not expecting it whatsoever. But, she didn't cry, but she was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll accept it. And then she was very supportive. And then I said, did you never think that I was gay? And then she was like, no, I just thought that you were a very elegant boy. Yeah, that was it. And then only found out a few years after that then the next day she did cry when I was not home. It was not because she didn't accept it, it was a shock. It was just because she became worried about what my life would look like.
Yeah.
So then that's how I said it to my mom. And my dad, I didn't actually say it until I think the second year of university. Obviously, my parents are divorced. And the reason why I said it to my dad was because my older sister, we were organizing a big dinner. She was obviously going to bring her boyfriend. And at the time, I also had another boyfriend, not this one.
You had a lot of other boyfriends.
But I thought, maybe this could be a good chance to just say it. In my head, I thought, okay, so maybe it's going to be like, okay, you bring him along as well. This was how I was thinking it was going to work out in my head.
Wow, very optimistic of you.
Very. But then I said it, and then he was like, oh, okay. And then he also said, it's your life, you can do whatever in your life, it doesn't matter. But then after that, we never really spoke about it since. Obviously, my dad is African, so coming from his culture, he probably have never met a gay person. He was not part of his world. So to this day, we never really spoke about it again until kind of recently. And he knows that I am in a relationship. But with my dad, we don't really talk about these kind of things.
And that's okay. But it's so funny that your mom said that she just thought that you were this colorful boy. Because my dad, he said the same. He said, no, I just thought he was one of those funny personalities that are just really out there. And yeah, he's just weird.
But yeah, so that's our story.
That's our story.
In a way, we were lucky enough not to have a crazy experience, but we are fully aware that that's not the case for everyone.
No.
So make sure that you'll feel secure whenever you get to that point. And it's okay not to. You don't have to come out. So if you're very curious about how we met, and this is the first video, you can click somewhere here when we made a video of boyfriend tag. So make sure to subscribe, like, comment.
Please, our ego needs it. So see you.
Bye.